Hello everyone, I am Bets Golden here today with RInea foil paper. I wanted to share with you a couple new packs that we have out. This is the floral variety pack and it comes in an artist pack which has a 12 sheet 4x6, and then the same colors are in a crafter's pack which is also 12 by 12 sheets, 6 by 12 inches, and the colors that are in them include marigold, violet, and fuchsia, and it is in a starstruck and glossy texture. So today I'm going to show you how to make some flowers, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp them and then we will fussy cut them out, and we're going to use the new Ghost Ink 2.0. I really like this ink. It's super simple to use. You're just going to take a stamp and you're going to just ink up your stamp pad nice. And I am using the fuchsia right now. So you're just going to ink this up. And you can really do any shape. I'm just using something from the dilution slide. And then we're going to wait for about 10 to 12 seconds for that to dry. And then while this dries, you can go ahead and clean off your stamp and get it ready for your next image. All right, we're at about 7 seconds, I think. And then all you're going to do is you're just going to take a dry paper towel and you're going to just remove that color, and voila, you are left with an absolutely beautiful stamped image. This ink, the Ghost Ink 2, works amazing. Now this is ink that you probably only want to use on RInea foil paper. It's not going to work on anything else, and it's because it has been designed with RInea foil paper in mind. RInea foil paper is a regular piece of paper that has been infused with a silver underlay and then some color on top. So what it does is it removes that top layer of color to reveal that beautiful silver lining. Now for the second layer, I'm just going to use some Stays On ink, and this is in Midnight Blue, and I'm going to stamp that image as well. And so as you can tell, you can use the foil paper the Ghost Ink on the foil paper to lift the color, and then you can also add color with Stays On ink. If you use a Stays On ink, you need to make sure that you let it set up and dry for just a few minutes, otherwise it will be able to be removed, and you don't want that. So just let it set up before you start to handle it. I did go ahead and stamp 3 flowers, or 3 of these, and then I cut them out, and we are left with this. So I have this one with the RInea foil paper. Something else, you guys, make sure that you wash your hands after you use the ink, because it does transfer and you will lift your paper. So from here, I have these 3 images, and I'm just going to take some liquid adhesive. I like liquid glass or glossy accents for this. It just seems to bind really nicely. And I'm just going to pop a little bit right there in the middle of that. And then I'm going to do the same thing on top. And I'm going to need to set this aside to dry a little bit before we start to curl up those edges. But once it is dry, you can go ahead and curl up those edges to your liking, and then you're going to be left with a beautiful flower just like this. Okay, let's move on to our second one. Our second one, I simply took some scallop circle punches and I just punched out 3 of these circles. And the colors that I used include marigold and violet. And this one is the Star Struck. I wanted just to give some fun different texture. Now I am going to flip one over so that it'll give me a gold. So we're going to come up with like a 3 colored different flower for this. This is super simple. All you have to do is you just have to take and you're just going to put a hole in the center of one, or roughly, and then I want you to take and put a hole that is a little bit offset on the other scallops. And this will work with any kind of round shape or any shape you want. From here, we're going to go ahead and we're just going to take the brad that we all have a ton of in our stash, and we are going to just start to line these up. It's not going to line up perfectly even, which is something that we don't want to do. We want to have it kind of wonky. Then we're going to take and just crumple up our paper into the center like so. Give it a nice crumple. really, really, really smoosh it around and just make sure that you get that all nice and crumpled up right there, like so. And if it tears, it's totally fine. It is kind of hard to tear though, I will say that. Like I have to really work hard on making it tear. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and just make our flower bloom. So we're gonna take and just open up that bottom layer, open up the middle layer, and then we're gonna open up the center. And I like to kind of take the center back and just really kind of pull it up again. And then I also will like to like kind of push it in on itself a little bit and just create kind of just like a unique look to this whole thing. And you can straighten it out or you can keep it relatively crumpled. It doesn't matter. It is what is to your liking. So here's one that I just did, and then here is another one that I did as well. And then finally I did one that is the same color and it's the same technique. So you can get completely different looks just by one simple punch and just scrunching and layering all of those together differently. Okay, last but not least, if you have little teeny tiny punches, go ahead and punch a couple out in different shapes. So I have these leaves and I have this centerpiece, and I'm using the violet and violet for all of this actually. And the cool thing is with the glossy texture, you're always going to have the backside is going to be gold, so you can always utilize both sides, and it just gives you a nice variation to your crafting. So for this one, I want my leaves to be gold, so I'm going to flip them over. I'm going to take this glossy accent and I'm just going to pop these on. If you don't have a leaf die, you can easily hand cut this. You can take a punch and you can cut out some a heart if you have a heart punch, and then cut the heart down the center, and that'll make some leaves as well. Then I'm just going to layer on that piece, and then I'm going to layer on the next piece in the opposite color like so. And you can either offset or you can leave your lines up like so if you want more of a clean and simple look. And then for the center, I'm just going to pop a little circle dot on the top in that purple, and there we go. We have a cute little flower. Here are some others that I did just with these three or these four shapes. I did this one, and then for this one I utilized basically and this one, oop, didn't stay on there now, did it? This one I used this top piece, and it wasn't quite dry yet. So that's what I did with that one. I just did one little leaf, and I utilized just this one piece and did a circular all around. And then for this one, I did that same technique that we did on this flower, just on a smaller scale. And I ended up with that. I really like that one. And then finally, I have this piece right here in which I just utilized all of the pieces that I had punched, all my punches together, and I just layered them up, and so I have this really full flower. And once this all dries, I like it flat because I can place it on a card or in a scrapbook or whatever, but if you want to add some dimension to it, you can go ahead and, you know, curl those edges up and just bring it to life a little bit. That's totally cool. It's the RInea foil paper is super forgiving, so if you decide that you don't like the edges up and you want it flat, you can go and just flatten it all back out again. It's okay. But now I'm kind of liking those edges up like that. That's kind of pretty, isn't it? Look at that. The dimension on that. How cool is that? So anyway, here is just some ideas for you that you can do with your punches that you have in your stash, as well as how to create some different flowers with your stamps, and then utilizing liquid adhesive and brads. I certainly hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. If you're not following me on my YouTube channel, I would certainly love it if you did, and you can follow me at Bets Golden. You can also look at the shop link down below to find all of these products. Until next time, happy crafting!